What's up, everybody? What's up, ghouls and gals? Thank you guys for joining me today. Truly appreciate it. I've been gone for 2 weeks, not because I wanted to, but because it was really hard for me to come in this room by myself with nobody else inside of this house. And that's usually when I do all of my recording. I have been jumpy because recently just watched A Haunting of Hill House, and that shit had me messed up. It gave me PTSD. I mean, there's everything from the Hat Man to a lady in black, which ends up being the bent neck lady. Dude, it gave me chills. I could not, for the life of me, get any sleep. I ended up dreaming about the Hat Man again, and it was the same Hat Man from the show, which, I mean, that to me is not a real haunting. It's just me getting PTSD from the show. Anyways, it's a really cool show if you guys like being scared, which I'm sure you do, because here you guys are listening to my stories. And it's not because I threatened you guys to come and watch my video, it's because you're genuinely a fan. And again, truly appreciate it. Anyways, so I'm going to be talking about sleep paralysis and dreams. I would say here's an experience for you guys. All right. So my brother had called me one day. This was maybe about I they're gonna punch me for this. My nephew Julian. He is 12 years old. I'm not too sure. He's he's a kid. So my brother calls me one day. My nephew was a newborn baby, and he asked me, "Hey, can you come over? Can you watch the baby?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I'm at the house all the time anyways. I might as well go hang out and spend some time with the kid." So he had to be like maybe a couple months old, not even a year old. So he takes a nap. I have him in the room on the bed. I take a nap right next to him. I'm on his right side. He's in the middle. And I say in the middle because this is some freaky stuff. So I get this feeling of sleep paralysis and I'm completely paralyzed. Okay. I wake up, I'm paralyzed, I can't move. I get this like creepy, creepy feeling. So I look up and I look at the baby. The baby turns its head. So if you guys know about sleep paralysis, you see some freaky stuff, stuff that's not explainable. The baby, my nephew, turned his head, looked at me. I looked at the baby, and then I noticed something laying down on the other side of my nephew. And I freak out. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. This person that was on, it was a man. I cannot distinguish its characteristics, but dead ass, it was a man. So I look over to the opposite side of my nephew, and the man looks at me and he says, "What?" But I don't know how I got out of the sleep paralysis and I grabbed the baby. I got this feeling that there was two people standing behind me. I don't know, for some reason, an image just came into my head. Two gray figures. I don't know what that was about, but that's the image that had stuck with me. Just two gray solid figures that were standing behind me. Oh, I thought it was my dog. It was the wind. I'm jumpy. Forgive me. Anyways, so I grabbed the baby, and when you're in sleep paralysis, you're aware of your surroundings. Okay, so you know everything that's going on. You can hear if there's music playing, you can hear the music. If there's people talking, you can hear the people talking and exactly what they're saying. Although they're not aware of you being awake, you are awake. Whether it's from your, I don't know if it's your third eye or something that's awake, but you are not awake. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. I am not like a sleep expert or anything like that. So you guys cannot come to me for questions with that stuff. All I know is I looked at the baby. I grabbed the baby. There was two beings behind me. I'm gonna say beings because I don't know exactly what they were. And I ran downstairs because I heard my other niece and my nephew talking. They're about the same age as me, so I heard them talking, and I ran downstairs. And I'm like, dude, like, guess what just happened? Like, and I was completely freaked out. So I think I mean, that's pretty much the story. Like, I don't know what it was. Sleep paralysis. I seen something crazy. There was a man on the other side of the baby. I just grabbed him and I just ran downstairs. I don't think I told my brother about that. So, brother, if you're watching, sorry. I have a question for you guys. For those that do get sleep paralysis, before you get sleep paralysis, do you guys get like a tingly sensation like in your body, like especially in your face? Because I know when I'm about to get sleep paralysis, I kind of like I get this like I don't know, like a heavy weight, not on my chest. I know a lot of people say that they get a weight on the chest, but for me, I sleep on my side because when I do sleep on my back, like no matter what, I'm gonna have sleep paralysis. So I sleep on my side thinking I'm not gonna have sleep paralysis or I'm not gonna have it as often. But when I'm about to, I get this heavy feeling like I can't move, and then I get a tingly sensation like in my cheeks and in my lips, and then in my feet, and then in my fingers. I don't know, does that have to do with your nerves? But do you guys experience that when you guys have sleep paralysis? Because I don't know too many people that get sleep paralysis except for my siblings, but to hear it from somebody else and not just thinking that my family is crazy, um, I mean, that would be pretty cool to find out also. But basically for me, um, when I get sleep paralysis, what I tried my best to do is just wiggle my fingers and wiggle my toes, and that usually does it. If not, I usually say in Jesus' name, and I will say a prayer or something. And that usually does the trick to help me get out of that. So if you guys aren't aware of how to knock yourself out of that and you guys just let it like free ball and do whatever it wants, usually what helps me is when I wiggle my fingers, wiggle my toes, and kind of like do a jerking motion to break free from it. That usually works. I call Coco and my brother because they always have some crazy stories, and they tell me, "Oh, just this happened this week." And so Coco was telling me that she was reading the book of Enoch. If you guys are watching this, I'm pretty sure you know what the book of Enoch is. So she had fell asleep and she was listening to an audiobook of the book of Enoch. And in her dream, she heard a child chanting. And she had woke up because I guess her phone was in her hand and it fell onto the floor. Her phone was in her hand. I'm getting creeped out, guys. I don't know. Maybe I'm just scaring myself, but what the? I would turn on my light, but for some reason now my light is flickering. Out of all weeks, it chose it. Out of all weeks, it chose this week, and I'm not gonna put a light bulb in yet. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe when I'm done with this video. Who knows? No importante. Anyways, so she has her phone in her hand, and I guess the phone fell on the floor, and she woke up. So this sound also woke up my brother because obviously they're married, they sleep in the same bed. That's what adults do. And if you're a kid, you better not be doing that stuff. Anyways. So the phone falls on the floor and it woke her up and it woke my brother up. Okay. And the thing is, this child was still chanting. So she looks over to Jerry, my brother, and she says, "Do you hear that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I hear that." She said, "What does it sound like?" She said, "It sounds like a kid chanting." And she looks to the hallway because they sleep with their door open. She looks to the hall and she sees a little boy crouched down on the floor chanting. Her and my brother are both seeing this. So when my brother is laying down next to Coco, I'm assuming that he's laying on the left side because Coco is on the right side and she's looking to the hall. But in the back of her head, she said that it was like my brother said that it was kind of a flash in the back of Coco's head, kind of like an X-ray, like when you do an X-ray and you get that little beam of light. But that's exactly what he's seen, but it was on the back of Coco's head, and he said that he could see her brain, her nerves, her eye sockets onto the other side. It was a full X-ray vision of Coco's head, and I took a couple notes. So Coco said that the creature being described. Okay, so it basically the creature was describing itself or coming to her as a child, but it was a creature in disguise. That's what she was taking it as. She said that the creature said, "When you look at what you see, read the eyes and not the mouth." And both of them were just frozen. And basically that's the story. And it happened at 2:08, which is kind of weird because this whole week I've been waking up at 3 in the morning. Go figure. I don't know what that's about. Maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me like it is today, like it did the other day, which is another freaking story. Well, basically, that's the end of their story. She titled that one as The Child. Basically, it was a child crouched up, freaky stuff. Which brings me to another story of what happened, which is why I'm so on edge. The other day, I was going for work, and my new schedule is now what 7 o'clock in the morning, and Rose she leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I wake up, I'm getting ready for work, and she texts me. She's like, "Oh, hey, don't forget my it's like a little, those school containers where you keep your like pencils and your pens. Well, she keeps that for like marker board markers to write like a deployment chart on the boards or a schedule on the boards for like the cooks that are coming in or whoever's working for the shift. So she told me to get that, and I said, "Okay." I got it. Don't worry. And then I'm about to leave the house and I forget it. Okay, so I go back into the room. The moment that I'm about to go into the room, I hear a knock on the door. And I'm like, what the hell is that? What could it be? But the thing that it sounds as if like if you have a belt hanging on the back of a door and you hear like kind of like a clinking noise. So like when you open the door and then the belt comes back and it hits the back of the door, that's exactly what it sounds like. Okay. And then so I open the door and I try to like do a little motion, like back and forth to see if it will make that sound again. And it didn't. I was like, whatever. I look around, nobody's there, thankfully. Um, I go back to get her markers and then I take them with me. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I forgot a rock star because I drink rock stars every freaking day. I go to the fridge, I set her little markers on the counter. I open the fridge, I grab my rock star, and then I head out for the front door. I'm like, shit, why am I forgetting everything again? Because I forgot her markers on the counter. I go out for the front door and then I hear it again, but this time it was louder. And I look to the side because if I'm walking out the door this way, I'm looking this way to my bedroom. And I look out to the side again and I hear it again. And I look at the door and I'm like debating whether or not I should turn off the hall light. I didn't. I ended up just not even investigating. I just went straight for the front door. Haha! This is why I was freaking out. I want to pretend this is why I was freaking out. But it wasn't because she wasn't here before. I have my room door open today because I'm on edge. She's fine. She's just gonna get into some shenanigans. On my way to work, I tell Rose what happened, and then she said that's weird because when I got to work, the toilets, I guess when you're walking inside of the restaurant, on the left side is the restrooms, and she heard the toilets flushing. Well, it's a sensor, maybe something set off the sensor. So I get to work and I retell her the story, and she's like, "No, I know exactly what sound you're talking about." And I was like, "No, you don't understand what sound I'm talking about." She's like, "No, yes, I do." And then so I had to demonstrate the sound that it made. And then I go like about my business throughout the whole day. And one of my neighbors actually works with me. She's one of my prep cooks. Okay. So I tell her what happened. And then so everybody's on edge inside of the restaurant. And then so she brings out like these, these portion bags, like these, they're not Ziplocs, but like they're like pull apart portion bags. Well, one of those were on her prep table. And if somebody leaves something on the prep table, they automatically thinks it's me. I don't know why. I put everything back where it's supposed to go sometimes. So there was a portion bags that are usually on the top shelf, but it had fell onto her prep table. So she had walked away. She came back. She's like, "Oh, Chris, do you need this?" I said, "No, not yet." And she's like looking around. I was like basically like, "Oh, well, who put it here?" And so I'm blaming my boss. And then I'm blaming Rose that she left it there, but none of them have put it there. And I'm just like, oh, this motherfucker's following me to work now. And then so I told her it was the ghost. It was the ghost. She's like, you brought that here. I said, no, I didn't. You brought it here. We live next door to each other. Maybe it's coming from your house. Who knows? I didn't bring shit there. It was haunted before because I'll tell you what, on the Christmas party, everybody wants the chef to make them everything. So they asked me, oh, hey, can you make me some birria tacos? And I'm like, yeah, sure. One of my other cocineras, one of my other cooks, she had brought birria. So I was making all of them like birria tacos. And then so I was putting on my headphones because I'm the only one in the kitchen. And I'm just like, you know what? It's freaking 8 o'clock in the night. I'm gonna play my headphones. I'm gonna make everybody some Christmas tacos. I mean, everybody had brought other food, but I'm gonna make them some tacos today. And I'm putting on my headphones. I'm at the flat top, and then there's the going to the back of the kitchen is this way. I look to the side and there is a man walking to the back. It's a Christmas party. I'm like, okay, who the hell is that? But why are they wearing a chef's uniform? And I look and there's nobody right there. And I had seen this man before. That's why I'm saying, like, is it my imagination or is somebody actually walking there? Like, is it the ghost or is it somebody actually walking there? But no, this person had never came out. So I, of course, I tell Rose, oh, look it, this is what I seen. I may act surprised and I may act excited, but I'm not really that excited. Sometimes I'm terrified. I don't know why I keep doing this. I don't know why I keep making these videos, man. I don't know why I keep watching scary stories. I think I like to be scared, but when I do get scared, I'm I'm on edge. I'm on freaking edge. Where the hell was I at? Anyways, so that was Coco's dream that turned to reality. Now, another dream that turned to reality was my brother's next story. It's like kind of like a follow-up story. So Coco has this doll. It's like an African doll, okay? Or something like that. It's basically like a red ball and it has seashell lips. Um, I don't know how else to explain it because that's how they explained it to me. But she gives it money and she gives it food. And so in my brother's dream, it was taunting him. I guess the person or the spirit was taunting him from that. Something was taunting him. Okay, in this dream, something was taunting my brother. It was a man. Okay. And so my brother had this dream that there was a long table and it was a big feast. Literally everybody was there. He started naming people in my family, some people that had passed away. I was there apparently. My brothers, my other sisters were there. It was a big, it was a big family feast, and people that were from the world itself were there. Maybe people had he had came into contact with, or just random people. Like in our dreams, sometimes we have dreams of random people that we've never met. How can we explain that? I don't know, but we do. So it was a giant feast. Everybody was there. And one person kept telling my brother, I'm going to take her from you. I'm going to take her. And my brother was like, oh, you know what? You better stop. Like, I'm going to beat your ass. And my cousin was there, my cousin Johnny, inside of his dream. And he was telling my brother, hey, you know what? You can't fight here. You have to go somewhere else. Um, Basically, this man was saying, oh, I kiss Coco. I'm going to take her from you. And so what happened was, I guess my brother tried punching this man, this spirit, this guy, whoever was inside of their dream, and they ended up going through a wall, like not like to where a wall crashes, but like different layers of like a different layer. Okay, it went through a different layer, like they flew inside like through a wall. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but basically they went through a wall and they were kind of like in a courtyard. And the man tells my brother, "Oh, you can't touch me, you can't touch me." And my brother punched him, and he's like, "Oh, you can touch me," like basically in shock. Now, the story we've all been waiting for. I was in my room, I had my headphones on, and I was trying to contact my spirit guide. I know as crazy as it sounds, but it's possible. I was trying to contact my spirit guide and I was using guided meditation. And throughout the guided meditation, it tells you be careful. It tells you to be careful because whatever is coming through might not be as what it seems. And so I'm kind of on guard. Okay, so I end up falling asleep or going into a trance. It had to be no more than 15 to 20 minutes at most, at most. And I go into this different place, a place I've never been to before. And usually with my dreams, there's a lot of familiar areas that are around me, and I've never been here before. There's a large rock boulder, and I have my back against it. I have my legs crossed, and I'm either reading a book or writing in the journal, one of those two. A little girl walks up to me, and she comes up to me, and she has like straight reddish brown hair. She has white flowers around her head, kind of like, like a flower girl would have, like for a wedding. She had little flowers around her head. She's wearing a white dress, and she says to me, "Thank you for coming. I've been waiting for you." And to me, I'm thinking I'm meeting my spirit guide. I said, "Thank you. I've been wanting to meet you for so long. I'm glad I'm finally here." And she says to me, "You need to help me because there's people that are after me." And I'm kind of on guard. So I'm aware of my surroundings. I know exactly what's going on in this world and in the next. in my world and in this world. I know exactly what's going on. So I know to be a little bit more cautious than I should be. So I tell her what's going on. She's like, there's some really bad people and they're here to hurt me. And so she grabs my hand and she tells me, thank you for coming. I said, don't worry, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna help you, whatever it is that you need. It's a little girl. She has to be about 6 or 7 years old at most. So I tell her, don't worry, I'm here. She gives me a hug and she holds my hand and she walks with me. And we're walking in this big field. We come across a white house, white picket fence, and the first glance that you get, you think it's a beautiful house. And she says, there's people here that are trying to hurt me. I say, don't worry. Don't worry because I'm gonna be here to help you. Don't worry about anything. I got you. What do you need me to do? And she says, well, there's people in this house and they're trying to hurt me. I said, don't worry, I'm gonna protect you. When you take a second glance at the house goes from being a nice, beautiful white house in a on the prairie to something different. Like now it looks all beat up. It kind of looks gloomy. It looks a little bit gray. It looks dark. And I look at her and her face starts to change. So she has a black figure face. And I'm like, fuck, I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was in my spirit guide. I knew that they were playing games on me. And her face changes again. And then she's like, there's people here and they're trying to hurt me. I said, don't worry, don't worry. I gave her a hug. She came to me back as a little girl. She said, thank you. You know, like a little sweet little girl would say. Like she said, thank you for helping me. I said, okay. She did a spin. She came back as a different girl. She was older. She no longer had the little white bands in her hair. She had white shirt and blue jeans. She gave me a hug and she told me her name. Her name was Sarah. That's what she had told me. I didn't understand it at first. Okay. And then so I snap out of it. I get out of the trance. I wake up and I don't think anything of it. I'm thinking that, I met my spirit guide. How freaking cool is that? A couple days later, I call my brother. I have a full back tattoo, right? Full back tattoo all the way from down here down to my buttocks. And I had got really drunk one day because I didn't want to tap out on a $500 session. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pull through. I'm going to get super freaking drunk. We're going to get tattooed all freaking night and let's just go through it. I did. I got drunk. I called my best friend Johnny. He picked me up in the night. I left my car at my tattoo artist's house. I called my brother the next day. Hey, brother, it's street cleaning. Can you give me a ride? I told him on the way over to my tattoo artist's house exactly what I'm telling you guys right now. And he looks at me. He's like, sister, that place that I go to is a place that I visit when I want to go visit my daughter. So Coco and my brother had a miscarriage and they named their daughter Sarah. And that's the little girl that had came to me. The age that she would be right now is the age that she had came to me inside of my meditation. I had just seen her when she was younger, and then I seen her at the age that she was supposed to be. That's what he told me. This was 4 years ago. He says, I go visit that place every time that I want to see my daughter. And he described the house the same way. I call him again today to recap our stories because this is a story that I wanted to tell you guys. He tells me, sister, I don't remember. I said, brother, we had this conversation already. He's like, I know we had because it sounds familiar, but I don't remember. He tells me that sometimes there's a block. Somebody doesn't want you to remember something. You're not going to remember it. And he didn't. He didn't remember it. But what he did tell me is this. This is new information. I'm gonna tell Rose as soon as she. Oh fuck! As soon as she. I'm gonna tell Rose as soon as she gets home. The freaking news that I got today. He tells me I have a picture of our grandma, my grandma, his grandma, when she was a little girl. She's wearing a white dress. She has reddish brown hair. She's standing in front of a white house with a white picket fence. He says sometimes I dream about my grandma, and she comes to me at different ages. Who is it? Is it my grandma or is it my niece? At this point, it could be two different people. This doesn't make any sense to me. Unless, unless that's a place this whole family visits. Oh my God, my throat just cracked right there. Unless my niece comes to us in this place because I have nothing. Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this content. I think on my next video, I'm probably just gonna do like a reaction to all these bunk bullshit paranormal detectives, or what do you call them? Paranormal investigators. Yeah, these bunk ass paranormal investigators. I swear that they catch everything every 2 seconds that they catch something. They catch a freaking apparition. They catch an orb. You know, as long as I've been around, granted, I had deleted some footage, but as long as I've been around, I have never caught anything on an EVP, on my spirit box. I haven't caught anything. The most compelling evidence that I had caught was my spirit box playing reggaeton and Raffy Law Group. That's pretty much all that they play. So I don't know how these people are getting all of this footage, all of this evidence when I mean, look at how many spirits that are around our family and we don't have footage of shit. I'm gonna do a reaction video because I'm gonna show you guys just exactly how they're faking stuff. Freaking wires opening up their closets and stuff. You know what? I wish it was a wire opening up my freaking door. That will explain a lot. Well, that about wraps it up, everybody. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you guys can catch me next week or maybe in a couple days. We'll see how it goes. All right, peace out, everybody. Bye.